Well, welcome everyone to William Linville's teleconference on choosing love over fear in these contrasting times, a.k.a. how to walk through current situations with ease and grace. And William, I wanted to start with a question.
Alrighty then.
And what do you mean when you shared this title of contrasting times?
Well, because the contrast, or I can say polarizing times, duality times, and the thing is that, let's say we all hop in the car vehicles or go on a walkabout. It could be to a store, it could be to the middle of town, which kind of looks like a zombie apocalypse, just no zombies yet. Now, it's interesting, right? Because there's those that are arising more than ever into love. They're ones giving up their soul, their life, their work, their wealth, their mind, their body, and their world. Truly, fully, completely of their heart. It is not just about giving. It's about the expression of that love. It's about the beauty and saying really everything about their hearts. Not martyrdom, sacrifice, but hey, truly, how best can I assist? Now, there's that part. And then I was listening to a client the other day, and we were kind of chuckling because she knows Whole Foods, getting her veggies. And, Whole Foods, kind of like Trader Joe's, to quote, i.e. spiritual stores. Now, it's kind of interesting, right? She looked over, and there's this beautiful Asian dear brother wearing a mask, and she watched him for a moment and smiled as always, and watched the dear one turn around and give this other dear one a right hook and a left cross for being closer than 6 feet. And it was just like, really? And then other ones, riots at Costco, unfortunately, in Los Angeles, over sanitary wipes or whatever they were, or Clorox wipes, and waters and hand sanitizer, all that fun stuff, which you look at all this stuff. The dear ones are running, let's just say their egos are taken over, and they're running in fight and flight, emanating and being clouded and overtaken by all the clouds of fear. And they're taking it out on everyone around, anything around, anyone that'll listen, and they're pushing in survival. Let's just call it, let's just together kind of call it light and dark, the heart or the ego. Now, many are running around in circles, and I make humor of it like, well, let's look at how blessed we are because we can always eat our young, and having fun with it. But seriously, it goes one or two directions right now. And it's an interesting division here of fear or love. There's communities coming together more than ever, and I have a lot of compassion for this situation, but I also have some humor as well. And I say the humor because now it's game over in many ways. It doesn't matter how much abundance you have. It doesn't matter if you are already living on the street. The field is even right now. You can't buy your way out of drinking a coronavirus. You cannot fight your way through this situation. And that's where we come back to the heart. And the heart here is that, you look at these dear ones opening their doors, opening their heart, and it's so funny, we're looking at all this panic, but then in our next door, whatever thing in our neighborhood, or our hood, dear ones are saying, hey, I'm putting this basket of hand sanitizer or this basket of masks, please just take one, and, they throw a little bit in like we're watching you, kind of like Big Brother's watching over their Ring doorbell things, but when it all comes down to it, they're saying, look, I have more than enough. And they're giving it fully, freely from their heart. And there's others that, how much are you willing to pay for a container of Clorox wipes? And now we're basically in the hundreds and thousands for one little container, which is really going into fear again. There's nothing wrong, whatever, about making a buck, but this isn't about making a buck. It's about holding dear ones hostage. And, you look at all this and then communities coming together and remembering step by step what really matters for them, which is love, the heart, communion, coming together, complimenting one another without being afraid of one another, which is on the other side. Do not invade my 6 feet of, personal oxygen or whatever. Now, it's interesting, right? Because you watch the young ones go there, which I want to make this as literal and practical as I can. And they go there, they get worked up, and they may slug you, whatever. But the thing is you're watching them right in front of you, like clockwork, their immune system going down. Their immune system, their lymphatics shutting down. You're watching all that anger, all that rage. You're watching all that fear be projected, and it's kind of bizarre because that is where you are basically putting your head on the guillotine, the chopping block. And, okay, my carnivorousness is more important than my optimum health and well-being. Now, it's interesting because there was going into fear, but then we have to look at the whole picture together, everyone. It's not new fear. The fear was already there, but it's coming up so powerfully for them. And as it's coming up so powerfully for them, well, what a beautiful opportunity to allow it to come up, come out, be released, dissolved, goodbye, and then once again, coming right back through their heart, just now without all the phantoms, without all the storms and clouds all around them. And step by step, their ones are waking up and even starting to come to terms with themselves, their presences, their camaraderie ships, their entourages, they as creator expressing through the physical form. And then this is where you have to say, just for the mental, emotional level, size does matter. Because aren't you larger than a tiny little virus, bacteria, fungi, and all of that? Aren't you so much bigger than that? Aren't you so much larger than that? Aren't you so much more than that? And that's where we look at the heart. Just take another breath into, within, and throughout the heart. And letting our hearts open up more and more. I mean, let's not put our head in the sand. Yeah, what's happening is happening. Now, we're available now to have compassion. Not all the empathy, sympathy, emotional stuff that gets you all tied up in knots, that opens you up to take on the debris of others, but really true compassion of the heart. And compassion is not a mental thing, it's a heart thing. Empathy, sympathy, yeah, that's all in the head. It's all in the emotional bodies. But yeah, it's interesting to watch dear ones get worked up, rah, and every step they take, their immune system's dropping. It's interesting to watch dear ones be pinned up in their homes with their partners, family, offsprings, whatever. But it's interesting, right? And the part I find interesting about it is so many have been seeking, searching, wanting that, but then, okay, well, I have to go do my 9 to 5 or blah, blah, blah. But right now, quite literally speaking, they're getting what they've been asking for, which I call it like a wonderful point of measuring oneself, being honest with oneself, being clear with oneself of how far you've come and how far you are along your own pathway of waking up, integrating, amplifying, and emanating, because now that you're in confined quarters, per se, how much love can we enjoy, express, receive from the ones we're there with? And that's kind of the fun part, the confined area. Are we going to come together and complement one another? Or are we going to play survival of the fittest and whose ego is bigger than whose? And then, of course, you run out of space in the house because the egos do take up space. And are we going to turn on our loved ones, or are we going to let the love flow through us, through our loved ones and from our loved ones? And it's almost like sitting around a campfire, minus nature and marshmallows, and really acknowledging, connecting, honoring, and being in such a beautiful pathway and a state of higher states of consciousness, communion, complementariness, radiance, and allowing that true love, that true light, that true iridescence that you are, emanate and emanate and emanate. Now, you look at all of this, okay, well, what's the point? What's the point? Where is it coming from? And, let's skip all conspiracy for a minute, because I'm not saying they're not there, but I am saying they don't matter. You are a creator incarnate right now. You always have been, you always will be. So right now, let's just all take a breath. And let's just allow our hearts to open and open. And for right now, let's just put your hand on your heart. You can put both, one, whatever, it's totally your call. And let's just really feel the heart, feel the energy, feel the consciousness, and really feeling ourselves opening up, arising up, connecting with oneself, where as you're connecting with your true self, all of yourself, you start to find, literally speaking, there is no fear. All of that only exists in the mental, subpsyche, emotional bodies that get hijacked, and then when this happens, that happens, that happens, that happens, bam, this is going to be your reaction. So right now, let's just skip all the reactions. Let's just take a breath. Breathing in that pure, divine oxygenation and consciousness to where we can emanate, where we can amplify, where we can so beautifully, eminently express, but right now harmonizing with yourself, all of yourself, on all levels, all dimensions, every cell of your body, and even feeling the beautiful communion, camaraderie, openness within and throughout the physical form as a whole. Let's just let that light, that love, that pure, iridescent, benevolent consciousness, starting to really align with it, letting it become more and more exposed. And right now, might as well welcome forth Germain in the violet flame of consciousness, of purification, sacredness, divinitization. All within you, through your body, all around you. As a matter of fact, all the way through your home, your whole world. And let's just welcome it forth as the beautiful gift that it is. No belief systems, none of this, none of that. But, where we can really open up, activate, amplify, and really more and more and more feeling that beautiful emanation, beautiful purity, very powerful sacredness. And right now, let's just see what it's like being well beyond the Akashic record realms, well beyond magnetics, well beyond cause and effect, well beyond as a dear one thinketh, so is it, or he or she, well beyond all of that, because we're not thinking, so we're wide open. And let's just take another breath. And now, together, let's just Looking forth, whether it's your family monads, whether it's your loved ones, and whether it's your unloved ones. let's just light them up as well. Even this beautiful violet flame of purification, divination, and sacredness. It's such a beautiful elegance because it somewhat smells and feels like a total love wash of lavender. It's kind of like lavender, white sage, white oak, running all the way up through your physicality, your presence, all the split, polarized, magnetic, dualistic bodies, which is kind of interesting, right? There's the mental body, subpsyche bodies, subtle bodies, emotional bodies, causal bodies, esoteric bodies. Well, let's just all look at it for what it is. All that is a lot of separation. Our goal here is to have one body, which is one light body without any scattered, segregated, separated particles within oneself, one's form, or one's consciousness. So right now, let's just let it all go into a purification, divination, openness, benevolence, and radiance and omnipotence right now. Let's just take another breath, letting it become stronger and stronger, just reaching out in front of it ourselves, turning it up. All that flame, now letting it become more reddish, like oranges, amberish, into a total white light that you are. Opening, activating, emanating. With so much more ease, harmoniousness, and grace. Now, universally speaking, how many have looked around? And this is something that, let's just say it's not bad, good, or indifferent. But let's just take it to heart for a moment. Take another deep breath, and let's look around us. Let's even look around the big blue marble, the planet. Now, you've heard me share that the planet is not going to go in shutdown mode. It's not going to go into being overly taxed mode. It's not going to allow for all of its kingdoms to shut down, be overly depleted, and basically the planet dying, which this would be technically the 8th time that humanity has imploded upon themselves. But now, the critical mass has been crossed. So let's say over 50% of brother humanity have woken up. They're on their journeys, just in their own different ways. Some will come to events, some will never go to anything metaphysical, spiritual, and it really just does not matter because they're still creator incarnate, whether they sign up for a newsletter. I mean, really, who cares? So right now, and they may not know the verbiage, but that's just all head stuff anyways. So now, let's honor what the planet's going through. Let's honor humanity. And with, once again, love, but now from a bigger picture standpoint, love, passion, compassion, clarity, understanding, acknowledgement that right here, right now, bigger picture-wise, this is the planet not allowing itself to be overly taxed to become unlivable. That's why you hear all these stories about, okay, we're going to, the wealthy or the this or the that or who you know, we're going to jump on a big spacecraft and go to the orange planet, being that of Mars. Well, I mean, that's great and all that if that works for you and you want to dig in orange sand. But nevertheless, what's happening is the decks are being cleared right now. And I share this from the soul level, from your higher levels, from your creator levels. And number one, you as creator, that is overseeing, once again, its creation. And those that have been, it's not bad, good, or indifferent, so there's no punishment and all of that man-made hoopla. This isn't about those kind of fun things. That's a man-made stereotype kind of thing called religion. This right here is about dear ones that have been sitting on the sofa, and it doesn't even have to do with the sofa, but buying into so much anger, so much rage, so much repression, so much depression, sadness, and trying to hide, and basically just exist. And others that are going the opposite direction and becoming denser and denser, trying to hold on to an old paradigm, bless their hearts. A paradigm that's, you're in the midst of all of it shifting over right now anyways. And we're watching all of these other levels of dear ones, that the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, that we're watching all this stuff come up in dear ones, technically stamping their own clocks, their own time card, saying, some saying, I'm just not getting it. So, why don't I drop the body and eventually pick up another one here or somewhere else? Since the karmic class works out, you do have that freedom. Now, I already know you're going to want to come back here, but nevertheless, it is what it is. Others saying, wow, I'm just not getting my attention, and I'm just unwilling to look beyond the tunnel vision, anger, hatred, whatever it may be for them specifically. And okay, so they're going to stamp their clock and step out. Even young ones right now, they came in to open the hearts of the parents, and they've done their part. Their hearts are opening. They've activated. Now they're saying, hey, man, I'm going to drop my body and run forth. Some. And that's why it's kind of a head-scratcher. This is not age-related. Doesn't matter if you're a newborn or a couple hundred years old. That has nothing to do with nothing. It has more to do with your immune system, the levels of consciousness that you are. And I guess if I sum it up, it'll be those that are walking their walk and those that are just existing and projecting fear, projecting, all these conspiracy and demand Big Brother's watching and, all the paranoia stuff. Dear ones are stepping out, even being moved out from their higher levels to have a lot clearer journey, opportunity, or to make a full transition, to come back in, rocking and rolling, but from more of their own awoken state, evolved state. Family monads, like when I'm talking about newborns, little ones, it pulls on the heartstrings of the emotions, of course. But then, let's step out of the emotional part again and look at the big picture. The dear one came in, they affected, they assisted, they did this, they did that, to affect the family monad and basically to let it arise. And then they're stamping their clocks or their time cards and say, hey, man, I'm ready for more, let's go. And playing elsewhere. And then to boot, we have the whole universe, on planet, off planet, Pleiadians, Pashants, Orions, on, that are observing but also assisting their ones to arise through the heart, arise to the occasion, even bringing in different forms of technologies and otherwise in a very physical manifestational way, including the encodements of consciousness, including the activation of your crystalline structures, to where you're becoming more of a clear and perfect channel of divine love and truth, but an instantaneous, embodied, amplified lighthouse as a constant conduit that has overcome the me scenarios. So this is really all the stuff that's going on right now. Now, this is where we get to the part of the contrasting times and then how to walk through current situations with ease and grace. Now, let's go back full circle to where we were. Can you feel right now how huge, how large, how emanating and uncontainable that you are as you're emanating and expanding through the whole body. I would say the heart first, because the heart, it's not a mental third eye connection to the universe. The portal home is the heart. So let's just look through the heart, letting ourselves just take a breath, letting ourselves emanate and expand upon ourselves to where we can feel the body, that we can feel beyond the body, that we can feel the walls of the room, that we can feel ourselves expanding throughout the walls in the room, and then the walls of the home, the walls of the neighborhood, and now emanating throughout the whole neighborhood, all the way throughout the whole township or city, the whole country, states, provinces, to where now, let's just take another breath, to where on the exhale you're releasing density and you're inhaling you, your greater benevolence, which talked about not being poverty conscious or having blockages for abundance, because you're breathing in that abundance of particles of love, particles of light right now. Even feeling that love, feeling that light, and all the particles of oxygenation all around you. And now, let's just honor that you are the open door that no man can shut. And what that means is we're emanating and emanating, and there's no ego that has any power to pull you down. And what that also goes into is, once again, emanating regardless of judgments of others. Now, we can go out in society and, dress up like a condom and go out on the streets, or we can, cleanliness, the whole theory, cleanliness next to godliness kind of thing, it's just your pure essence. Now, if we go out, great. I would say, don't be afraid, number one. The fear automatically lowers the immune system, and automatically, everyone here knows as well as I do, you start to attract what you fear. You start to welcome it in. The immune system drops, your optimum health and well-being, homeostasis drops. It feels like someone just shot a big, out of a cannon, a big blob of molasses, and you can feel that heaviness pulling you down. So that's where, okay, we'll step back. Take another breath. Now, this whole honor, this is all outside of you. It's not a part of you. There's a bigger picture at play, and yeah, it's unfolding divinely. Now, if we step once again, just through the heart, out of emotion, I know that you know, and you know that you know, that you're aware of the big picture. So therefore, why give in to all the semantics? Why give in to being afraid of fear? Technically. So right now, let's just take a breath, just feeling yourself expanding throughout the planet, throughout even this galaxy, the solar system, this Milky Way, through your body. Because we want to be just as conscious in our body as we are of everything else and everywhere else. And now, let's welcome in more and more of the graciousness. The graciousness which is really right up there with your elegance, your regalness, and your fluidityness. And just how's that feeling right there, Mike Aruna?
Feels there's a robust strength feeling.
And right as we're here, not happy thoughts or whatever, but how immune right here and now do you feel?
Totally immune.
Now, for all of us, how distant, how super far away can you feel the fear that's literally in the air? Fear, panic, paranoia, anxiety, overwhelming burdens, and then frustration, resentment, and you can't control me, and all that rebellion hoopla. So let's just take another breath, just looking at how far that away that is right now.
It seems so far, it does seem totally separate
And once
from me.
again, how immune are you? Not just how you feel. Literally, how immune are you to all the other gunk all around?
Very.
And now, this is welcoming more and more of you. Your higher levels, which you are your higher levels, and your higher levels are you. Now, we're just bringing in more and more of you through the body. So rather than just having like this rope coming up and down through all the chakra centers and through the crown from the whole universe, we have this huge funnel that's coming all the way down to fully engulf, embody, integrate, and amplify through the body without any alcoves, without any little crevasses without you. To where we're purifying, divinitizing the whole form and literally every level of you, including, I would say especially and including even the soul level of consciousness. That we're not in a cyclical cycle. This isn't paying your dues and paying karma and all that fun stuff. Or karma Gia, remember the little Volkswagen card? Now from here, or my karma ran over your dogma, all of that fun stuff. And really just letting all that gunk and weight, just take a deep breath, and on the exhale, just letting it fall to the ground. And it's very important right now that we really feel, or at least become, to a level where none of this is personal. It's not happening to you. It's happening for the highest and best good of the planet, brother humanity, and so on and so on and so on. And technically, the whole universe, the galaxies, the Milky Ways, the nebulae, and the oceanic realms, the plant kingdoms, mineral kingdoms. It's awesome. Because right now, you're literally in between realms. You're not preoccupied with the head running, all the duties of today, tomorrow, the next week, paychecks, blah, blah, blah. Right now, you're in such a beautiful state of being in between dimensional planes to reconnect with yourself. We've goodbye to the old, hello to the new. Then just taking a deep breath and decompressing. And to go back full circle, let's all honor together. You may feel one way or another way, that's totally your call. But I really want you to take to heart that there is no such thing as victims. So let's just take a breath. And I'm asking that you tune into it with me, just beyond surface value. I want you to really tune into with me what's really going on within the souls, within the dear ones. That you're watching go through this, go through that, step off the planet, end up on their back, whatever it may be. Let's really go right into them, big picture-wise. Young dear ones, with younger bodies, ones with older bodies, and everywhere in between. I really want to go beyond the superficial levels so you can see within yourself, through yourself, and through them, what is really, truly going on for them that has led them to that situation of really creating anything, much less a case of coronas. From here where, it could be fungi, bacteria, virals, kidneys, livers, gallbladders, spleens, lungs, pancreases. It could be the frontal lobe of the brain totally dyslexic emotionally. It could be growths in the brain for that matter. I want you to really look at what is really going on for them, within them. Because there's no time like the present, and no time left. What a beautiful opportunity it is to really see it for what it is. There's those that perceivably seem accident prone. Well, let's really tune into it. What is really going on there? Because when you go into the universe here, through the caves of creation, the halls of honor, seriously, there's a heck of a lot of celebrating and cheering going on. That you are pulling this through without forgetting who you are. You're pulling this through to step out of all the dogma. You're pulling this through to let karma be like something you put on a Rice Krispie treat. To where you're superseding, you're overcoming it. You're well beyond it. And the whole universe, literally, when you go there, you can hear the cheering of celebrating you. So, how does that appear and feel for you, Mr. Michael Aruno? Michael Aruno?
Well, it makes me reflect on when I, in sort of like breaking down old structures of the mind in my situation, is when I had a significant illness and couldn't work for a long time. And it gave me the opportunity to question everything. And
including who you are and what you do and why you do it.
Right. And I equate that for some dear ones that our experience had as well. Everyone's experiencing something different with all these changes, with all the shutdown, including for some people, their profession that they were working on, let's say massage therapists, etc. They don't know when they're going back to work.
Okay. And for many.
And so what would you say to someone like that?
I would say sit down on the ischial tuberosities with your left leg laying in front of you, your other leg just gently bent to where the heel and the sole in the arch of the foot is just touching at the knee on the left leg, just laying flat on the floor. I would say take your fingers right up to, if you're there in your undies or, I don't know, a thong or something, let's go ahead and start at the top of the thigh on the left leg. Let's start skin rolling. Let's start peeling the skin away from the fascia. And I'm asking you to do this because, for one, you'll find every millimeter, centimeter, inch you go, there's going to be a whole flooding of different memories, different emotional releases, and then make your way all the way down. And then let's do it the same on the right leg. Because this is a great opportunity, for one, to perfect your own perfection. For number two, what's most important here is that you're in your own space, that you're in your own presence, that you're not caught up in the head and all the to-dos. And I mean this with all my heart. The schedules will take care of the schedules. No worries. But I also want to say with all my heart, when you come back to doing hands-on, you're going to be better, you're going to be stronger, you're going to be clearer, you're going to be purer for the beautiful gift that the dear ones receive from you when they have the great honor of being in your presence. And then, great, let's pick up an animal, a cat, a dog. I guess you could probably do an iguana, kind of a stretch. You could do a snake. I'm not sure how good that'll turn out for you, but especially the poisonous ones. No, but really, let's do hands-on. Let's readjust their hips. Let's realign, going down their upper legs. Tiny, right when you get down to the paw, just tugging a little bit to extend the joints and watch how much greater the animal runs around. And things that you're perfecting, which is going to open up a whole new field for you. What's beyond just playing with humans, playing with adults, little children, playing with animals, and it's just going to really unfold. Just have maybe more that will be able to come into your life because you're perfecting your own perfection. And then from there, where we can just take a breath, and which is part of one of the major beautiful things right now, is where we're in a place right now of no distractions. So as we have no distractions, let's just sit and take a couple deep breaths. And use this as a beautiful opportunity of you, like the rose that you are, unspiraling, blossoming, and having even the petals expand. Because now we don't have all this excess busy jargon flying around, where we get to become clearer, purer, stronger, more direct, more fluid on every level in every way. So here in a few weeks when we get back to it, man, look at how much more amplified you are. And then let's welcome in the highest vibratory level of energy from the whole universe through your crown, through your throat, through the sternum, the shoulders, the upper arms, lower arms, the hands, through the heart, and all the way technically down through the solar plexus, critical vortex, the root chakra vortex, pelvic girdle, all the way down into the feet and down your shoulders, your arms. And now let's just let the chakra levels, vortexes in our hand open up, letting all this beautiful, pure energy. I mean, energy is neutral until you give it a direction. So where do you want to send it? What do you, because just by doing energy work, you're speeding up your vibratory levels anyways. Now, the second part is what do you want to do hands-on with? Now, I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to implore that you ask yourself, if we're going to go here, where are we coming from? Is it, woe is Brother Humanity, or woe is this dear one, or woe is the planet? Because if we're coming from there, let's just down a Corona and call it a wrap. Because now you're putting yourself in a position of absorbing all the fear, the guilt, the pain, the punishment, all that colorful stuff from the exponential world. Now, if we're going to do this, let's really let it run all the way through your body, your consciousness, your whole beingness, towards how best can I add to the beautiful evolvement right now? Not because dear ones are broken, because I don't care what illness, virus, bacteria, overgrowth, cancer, whatever. You're perfect as you are. You're not broken. So we need to be clear on that. No one is broken. Nothing right now is broken. Because as we come from here, we can take a breath and now truly make an impact. If we're going into, woe is the dolphins or the little Chihuahua puppy dogs, and all that, I would say sit on your hands or just put your hands facing your torso and just load yourself up. Letting vibratory levels increase and increase, because at that point, at least you're using your body as a conduit and an amplifier to assist every level of creation. But if we look at the beauty of the animal kingdom, they're jumping up and down, celebrating too, where this is all going. So if we're going to assist them, great, let's do it because we're perfecting their perfection, not because you're judging it to be broken. That's the number one thing that we really want to be clear with right now. If we're going to work on the planet, great. I'm going to send love to the planet in the form of energy work to, assist the vibratory levels of the planet to increase with more ease and grace. Not because volcanoes in Japan or something are going off and woe is the people. But I know you get the gist. All right, Miguel Shinkano Jr.?
Yes, so what I hear you say from an overall perspective is that no matter what we're going through, it really is a time to stop, and if we have to make a big decision in this area of chaos, or let's say it's related to someone who's elderly, and we're trying to assist them, we really need to connect to ourselves, our true selves, in order to clear out the fears, the doubts, put them all outside of us so we can get clarity of answers and guidance on how best to assist.
Or just connect with your heart and assist.
Okay.
Let's not look at them as if they're frail and weak and all of that. Let's look at them for who they truly are. The Creator expressing through creation. Now, if we want to assist in raising their vibratory levels and all that, great. If we want to assist with doing hands-on from a distance or however to give their bodies a boost, great. Now, I would hope if you were going to do that, I would hope you would do it any time, not just when there's perceivable chaos in the air. Because love is love is love. It's kind of like, this perceptional virus. It's not personal. It's not feeding on these or feeding on those. It's pretty darn neutral. It's just whose vibratory levels are going to be at such a degree to be able to take in the symptomologies, the virals. I don't care if you're 1 million years old or 2 days old, or maybe you're still just working your way out of the womb. Same thing still applies. How best can we light them up, open them up, speed up their vibratory levels, just out of love, because of love? I mean, that goes for every culture, color, and creed, every dear one on the planet, every age group, and all that fun stuff. Love doesn't see any time. It doesn't see numbers. It doesn't see ages. It doesn't see culture, colors, and creeds. It's an infusion that is activating, initiating, amplifying, that in turn you watch, they continue to rise. You don't just start to watch. They get that glow back around them rather than feeling taxed, rather than been here, done that, did this, endured this, blah, 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 Holocaust and all those scars. Well, let's go right to the core of their being. Let's just give them a boost. Even freeing it up, but not, once again, because something is broken. I've never done energy work at all, period, globally, individually, grouply, because their ones are broken. It's because they're wanting to be enhanced. And how best can we beautify their perfection? So when we go here, let's first start with looking at the light within them, the beauty, the perfection within them. And I'm saying this because let's go heart to heart beyond all the ego hoopla. Ego hoopla, it's all nonsensical judgment and emotion. And decisions that were made as they, as creator, have commanded it so. So let's give them a big boost and let them either undecide the judgments they've made or at least dissolving the judgments to where it's no longer affecting their optimum health and well-being, no longer affecting the DNA, the RNA, no longer affecting youth vitality chromosomes or the telomere. And I say that as a boost and a boost of love, because this is a beautiful opportunity where love, you're watching love be emanated all over the place. Now, how much more can we offer out of love? And I'm not talking about do. I'm talking about being and becoming and expanding. Isn't that fun, buddy?
That's fantastic. And William, from this virus and these circumstances, is there going to be long-term beneficial change, or are most year ones just going to go back to normal? Is there a whole new, are many people going to be really shifted by this energetically, vibratorily, or are they just going to go back to the way things were?
Well, it is interesting, right? Because you're watching right now every form of perceptual reality that dear ones have called normal. It's been shaken. It's been turned upside down. It's been unrooted. So in reality, universal, physical, mental, and otherwise, there is no normal to return to. You can't go back to not know what you know now. So yes, it's long term. And yes, what I love here is that dear ones are on a pathway to stop, look around, acknowledge their coworkers, acknowledge all the dear ones around them, acknowledging the dear ones in the store, acknowledging the dear ones in the car next to them, including acknowledging their personal live stream and the dear ones there too. But now with more of the eyes of love, eyes of understanding, eyes of compassion, clarity, omnipotence, rather than you're you, I'm me. It's not, and I know I'm not you and you're not me, but it's more like, hey, I really see Michael come. I really see Elizabeth Finkel. I really see Sharon and Dina, and I really see you. And as we go there, there's no going back to try to pretend, egoically or otherwise, that you haven't seen what you've seen. Know what you know. And when I look at this, I also look at all the systems on the planet, whether it be prime ministers, whether it be presidents, whether it be chiefs in villages, and police, and all that other stuff, governments, customs, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's interesting to watch, especially right now, how much of that, even scientists, how much of that is being turned upside down to where now there's not even a rug to put anything under. It's total, complete, unanimous exposure, individually and collectively, in all those arenas, to where there is no trying to hide it away again. And then, dear brothers, as a whole collective, as a mass collective, as a whole of their higher levels through their lower levels, through their mental psyche, subpsyche, and all that fun stuff, where, literally speaking, their ones are saying enough is enough. Right now, I find it kind of peculiar how it doesn't matter if you're a libertarian, a fruitarian, a Democrat, Republican, none of that matters. I mean, who cares? Because it's all those polarized parties that are also collapsing. To where now we're coming back together individually, holistically, and saying, okay, there's a lot that's been upside down. Now, let's get rid of this and bring in another dear one. Let's do this. And let's really, and this is where we're looking at like sincere, true, open-hearted, but very diligent and powerful integrity and sincerity coming forth, not just who looks good in certain lighting, male or female, or, it could be a canine or a cat or whatever. This isn't about any culture, color, and creed stuff anymore. It's definitely not about genders. It's about whom is really stepping up into integrity that we're willing to put faith in or hire to do a job. No shortcuts, no pretenses, no gimmicks, and all that colorful stuff. Isn't that great?
That is great. And along these lines, as far as the planet is concerned, share a little more about the experience for the planet through this time and going forward.
Most definitely. So right now, let's all take something to heart. The planet is purifying, rebuilding itself. It's purifying and recreating its resources. It's purifying itself as the beautiful creche that in a body on a planet that you're walking on. And all of the, whether it's throwing radioactivity, barrels in the ocean, or oil, or toxic waste, whatever, all of that is the planet itself is taking care of it and saying enough is enough, even to the behavior of it all the way from whaling ships to, torpedoes per se, and submarines to leak oil. The planet is absorbing all that stuff, purifying it, and restabilizing itself. It's rebuilding its resources. And also, you're watching, even beyond this whole corona thing, the COVID-19 thing, however that was ever created as a name, was kind of interesting. Why wasn't it like 20 or 21 or something, or, 16?
Mm-hmm.
But nevertheless, or it could have been number 9, COVID number 9. Well, that would be different. But you look at all this stuff, none of this is natural. All of this stuff has been man-made. And all those systems and collective consciousness is as well have been going through such a beautiful exposure and divinitization, and that's where the planet is getting rid of, well, I'd say getting rid of, but technically clearing itself of the denser pockets of consciousness, different pockets, hints like volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, sinkholes, fires. It's really clearing itself of all of the, let's just say, for the sake of word, I would say damages that were done. And it's replenishing itself. And really reminding the egos of brother humanity that they're not in charge of it. It has the ability to remove them. Now, if we look at that holistically speaking, this beautiful creche is regenerating itself, restabilizing itself, even magnetically through the solar system, this universe, where even the magnetics that have kept all the planets harmonizing throughout the solar system and Milky Way, well, now the magnetics are becoming purified, expanded upon. That's why science is finding new planets, Planet X, blah, blah, blah. It's not anything new. It's that the consciousness is rising enough, pulling off the Zorro mask to see what's really there. So then you look at all this stuff. Diseases don't just come out of nowhere. And just because, well, nothing else to do, these are things that your ones have been playing with that really had no business playing with. But this is where it's like a little slap on the wrist for science and pharmaceuticals and all this other fun stuff, globally speaking, planetarily speaking, that says no more. It's kind of like, the whole AIDS thing, right? And HIV and all that fun stuff. Once again, there's no way around it. It wasn't from some brand new plant with toxins and little spikes on it. No, it was man-made. So now, some of it was done by default, and all the stuff around messing with things that there was no purpose to mess with, going into germ warfare, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're watching it backfire, and once again, dissolve in the planet is absorbing it, purifying it, divinitizing it, but also removing the denser, more crustaceous parts of itself, where so much density has been anchored into small areas. And also, California is not going to fall in the ocean. I just want to confirm that. Neither is Florida. It's not going to float off and become the new Cuba. Okay? So, but this is what's really going on.
Right.
I mean, is there really any secret, that China, New York, these other places on the planet, in a very consolidated area, it's really no secret that those are major epicenters. Now, you look at that, you go to China, out of great compassion, dear ones are running over each other, blah, 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 and there's hardly room to breathe. And in New York, dear ones, not always, but a good amount of the energy is dear ones would rather spit in your eye than look at you. And it's not a bad thing. It's a me thing. And how those pockets right now are being purified and divinitized. And I say that globally to assist the whole of the planet and, of course, brother humanity. And, there was the Twin Towers, and now it's this, and all this other stuff. It's just, because remember, New York is connected with the rest of the planet in so many different ways, and so is China. And Japan years ago with all the nuclear issues, North Korea, South Korea, on and on and on. Now, it's no secret that these have been, let's just say, denser, heavier, it's almost like wrought iron places. And I say wrought iron due to the magnetics there that are now going purifying, divinitizing, and being divinitized to bring dear ones together now to where it's literally dear brother next to dear one. Dear brother, and that's more like a brethren thing, not a gender thing, are starting to stop in their footprint and even acknowledge one another. And the heart's opening up and caring for one another again rather than running each other over. All right, Meister?
Excellent, William. Here's a question. Is there something that would be beneficial for us to do, something special at this time?
Make s'mores. Right. I don't understand the question.
Well, another person from Massachusetts said, is that background noise you, William?
No.
I have no idea where that's coming from.
Okay, but go ahead, buddy.
Everyone else seems to be muted. From Massachusetts, it said, sometimes I can't help but thinking that perhaps there's something I ought to be doing. It always feels so good psychologically to do some action and so feel like part of the solution.
Okay? So right now, let's all do this. Let's just step back from everything. Even pointing your eyes towards your third eye with your eyes closed. Now, let's go ahead, take a few deep breaths, and welcoming more and more of you in, more and more of you forward. From beyond the soul, beyond the emotional calibration lattice work, from beyond the subpsyche, all the way into the psyche. Now, let's just let our whole body right now light up. So let's just put a switch on our sternum, turn on the light switch. Here you can actually feel that energy, that consciousness, that light beingness, and wholeness running through the whole physical system. And now, let's just put the whole planet in the palm of your hand, and everyone on it, including the astral planes, including the mass collective thought forms, including all the colorfulness in the air, and this goes to pollen as well as everything else. Let's just take a breath. Let's welcome in the highest vibratory level of energy, of light, of consciousness. Let's let it feel like what it feels like. Let's let it look like what it looks like. And let's just let it run through your crown, through your third eye, your throat, your heart, solar plexus, cranial vortex, pelvic girdle, all the way down through the feet, including the root. And let's welcome all this beautiful energy. I'd call it purifying energy rather than healing energy. Because healing energy kind of proposes that there's something broken. And it's not broken. And let's just send all of this right into the planet, all the way into and through the whole crest and all the matrix of the planet, affecting everyone's physical, mental, emotional, and every level of their being that are walking upon the planet, assisting those souls as well. And assisting and glowing so powerfully, imminently, that it's going all the way through the mass collective thought forms, purifying it, divinitizing it all the way through the astral plane, all the way through the cosmic lattice work, to where we can light up this planet so much and everyone and everything on it to such a degree that it looks like another sun rather than another star. And then let's get up. Let's just command the choke array there to amplify the healing and to seal it in permanently. You don't need to have it draw it and all that. Just command the choke array there to amplify the healing and to seal it in, which means it's going to continue as we get up. And as we get up, whether we're inside, whether we're outside, number one, let's just ask ourselves, help me to love and not to judge. Make me aware of judgments. Make me aware of criticism. Help me to be the light that I am, the instrument, the conduit that I am, and I welcome in my light bodies as well to fully integrate into, within, and through. And now, how best can I love and not judge? And let's go, if we go outside or from the home, let's just watch for a minute, just taking a breath, and let's just watch whatever comes to mind, or whomever comes to mind. Now, it could be your best of camaraderies. It may be your biggest nemesis, which technically your biggest nemesis is closer than your closest camaraderies. And they're taking up space. So I implore you to right now send them lots and lots of love. Let's find one thing about them. Just one thing. It could be their facial hairs if they're a female or a cave person. It could be their tennis shoes. It could be their wedding ring. It could be their nails. It could be their eyelashes. It could be the hairs. It could be the skin tone. But just one thing. It could be the way their navel looks, whether it's an innie or an outie. It doesn't really matter. Let's find one thing that we can honestly say about them that is beautiful. Now, like I said, it could be cosmetic. It doesn't matter. The energy doesn't care. The love is love. To where now judgment's out of the picture, emotions are out of the picture. It could be politicians, it can be whoever, whatever comes to mind. And Mike, who's coming to mind to you for you first?
Trump?
Okay, so can you tell me at least one beautiful thing about the dear one? It has to be valid.
About his behavior or his essence?
Just about him. Behavior is not him. That's just behavior.
Okay.
About him. Let's just look at something beautiful about that dear one.
He is divine essence.
Okay, so that's great and all that, but now I want you to find something concrete. So whenever you see this dear one, whether it be media, passing through Jacksonville, it's a little bit of a trigger reminder. It could be his ties made in China for all that's worth. It could be the color. It could be suit. It could be his right pinky fingernail. Just something. It could be how his skin glows orange. Now, just one thing, but it has to be something valid.
So I can see him, and then I see orange.
Okay.
So let's focus on orange.
Okay.
And do I attach? Are you sharing that concrete aspect of him or his physical body that I can
Just
attach?
yeah, like if you love the orange of his skin, great. That's something beautiful. If
Right.
you love his right pinky fingernail, great. If you
I like
his
orange.
shoes, okay. So let's say right now, okay, well, he's orange, and that orange is one of my favorite colors. Now he'll constantly remind me of my favorite color.
Uh-huh.
The behaviors aren't important. Those are just behaviors. Those are just action reactions. Or his eyebrows. Now, let's all do this with, because I would say, for Mike, for you, Trump is quite the gift. Because he brings up all that gunk for you to look at and be free from.
Yes.
Including enjoying the color orange. Now, who cares about politics, political views? That's just a lot of bizarro judgments anyways. Now, what else is presenting for you?
About
Just
what about?
whoever else just floats through your mind.
My brother.
Okay? So what is it about him?
I connect to what's going on for him and always or a part of me presents in how best can I assist.
Okay, so right now, and this is for everyone, Mike, I want you to look way back in your childhood from now, from where you're at now, until we could see that pure, innocent brother. Before the ego was developed and whatever. Just the purity, the innocence. Maybe when everyone was trying to figure things out or figure themselves out. So let's say pre-puberty, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, when you just see that within him, how are you feeling?
Vibrant.
How light, how compassionate, how heartfelt.
Yeah.
Because all the other stuff's just window dressing, okay?
Right.
That's all what you do, what you believe, blah, blah, blah. And right now, none of that matters. That's why during the holidays, I make humor about Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving, whatever it may be. Because we go there to really see how far you've come. So if you sit around the table with the family monad and you're laughing, really laughing, lightening up, really lightening up, not trying, awesome, you're free. If you're there, trying to constantly deflect judgment and put up your own walls, okay, well, no pass, no fail, but now they have you hostage. You bought into it. So brother, sister, mother, cousin, aunt, uncle, parent, grandparent, it doesn't really matter. What matters is the ones that right now we're playing with, finding something beautiful within them. Character and all that, let's put that to the side. Let's really look through their heart. If they have a heart. No, I'm just teasing. But let's just look through their heart. Through their essence. Because this is a big part right now of also, because the simple answer to that question, the biggest gift you can give them, yourself, the whole universe, and brother humanity is to walk your walk. That's the simple answer. It's the real answer. So part of walking our walk is to be able to look at your biggest nemesis in the eyes and feel nothing but love.
Mm.
So let's start small with finding, it's small and it's not, it's actually kind of huge. When they've always been like, Jack the Ripper hiding over your shoulder or something, now, or demonic, let's turn around and just find something beautiful about them. Like, if it's demonic, great. You have the most shiniest horns I've ever seen. Because that's where you're going to shift it. That's where you're going to make an impact within yourself and the world. Until eventually, you see the love in everything. You see the light within everything and everyone. You see beyond all the superficial stuff that ones want you to see. And you see through it to really see them. And how divine they are. Beyond all of the bulletproof coats and vests and all the places they're hiding behind. Now, I want you, just for a minute, let's all take a breath. Let's really feel that for a moment. Feel the strength, the power, the sinceritiness. To feel also without walls, but the unbeing affectableness. Until you could start to feel more laughter coming up. This is how we get to bliss. This is how we get beyond anything from any issues, energies, constructs, conflicts from the solar plexus down. This is how we overcome the world to where you can become the light within the world. It's really no different. than what the Buddha, the Krishna, Satya Sai Baba, Sananda has done. Germain, the Magdalene, the Mother, the disciples. And it's where we're bringing your higher to marry, emanate, and expand and express through the lower. Not based in good deeds, but based in the size of your heart. Isn't that awesome?
Yes. And here's a question from Nevada. As we are raising our frequency, like you were just sharing, how does this affect the external world or external circumstances, even like this virus?
Well, this is pretty simple. The more you're raising your vibratory frequencies in megahertz of light, the more you're emanating through the body, the more you're affecting the planetary matrix, the more you're affecting any and every dear one that ever crosses your path, the more, and I'm referring to it doesn't matter if you ever talk to them or not. The words are words, but what really matters here is the light in which you emanate. The words are great for mind candy, but in reality here, it's that light in which you emanate that lights up your world and the world of others. It's the love in which you're radiating that is activating, initiating, and opening up portals within yourself and everyone that crosses your path, and whether it be a grocery store, whether it be a stadium. You know, you're affecting that. You're affecting the planetary grid, and also you're reaching higher heights of vibratory frequencies and megahertz that also dissolve the ego and create automatic, instantaneous streams of clarity of you going direct within and throughout the whole universe and the whole planet, to where the more that you're vibrating faster, lighter, brighter, it doesn't matter if you're on a stage, it doesn't matter if you're sitting somewhere in a cardboard box. None of that changes. When you're vibrating at that rate, you're affecting everyone, everything, including all the kingdoms, plant kingdom, mineral kingdom, oceanic realms, animal kingdom, on and on and on. And where it also affects all the manifestational world of the unfoldments in which you've put out there through the manifestational realms, wanting to manifest, but now we get rid of all the manifesting by default, creating by default, and we're going into a mainstream of consciousness in which is streaming right through you, right into your live stream, which is now creating long-term beneficial results and more manifestations that furthermost beget you, complement you, and are enjoyable and love-filled. So it's not just affecting their worlds, it's affecting you opening up to all these other realms of reality and your finite, innate abilities.
Hmm.
And I don't want you to really play yourself small here. So, okay, well, yeah, just in Nevada. No. When you walk, you walk. You're affecting the whole planet, the cosmos, the universe, the magnetics of was also holding this whole solar system together. You're going in through your interdimensional and external dimensional planes to where you're no longer having any dogma, any weight in any of the overloaded, overbearing magnetics that are keeping veils over you. You're surpassing it all. That's why when I share things, all right, big guns help me love and not to judge. What I'm really saying is help for me to expand rather than internalize and take on gunk. Help me to be the instrument of divinity rather than the fault of chaos and ego. Help me to be the light in the middle of darkness. Because even the darkness, at the core essence of itself, it is total light. It just has a lot of overlays, just like you are total light, with a lot of underlying egoic constructs that has you hold back your light. Now we're burning up the constructs to where you're total light once again. As creator, emanating and amplifying through creation, you're overcoming, you're superseding all the taught behavioral mannerisms, also the repetitive ones from your soul level of consciousness through the Akashic record realms that have taken records and have all the recordings of all your dimensional planes from every incarnation from first separation to now. And we're creating a beautiful stream of gold, a beautiful stream of love, a beautiful stream of light through all those, bringing back all these pieces, all these fragmentations, all these particles of oneself, cleared and purified to where now we're becoming huger, lighter, brighter, and clearer, and once again, more impactful universally, solar systemly, through the other 19 universes, through all the interdimensional travels and all of that fun stuff. You know, many have asked me, well, how do I open my third eye? The key to the third eye is how large is your heart. It's not just trying to become psychic. The more love you emanate, the more psychicism you're going to step into and activate within yourself, which technically I would call knowing, some feeling, some visual, but where we're bringing in all the clairs, clairaudient, clairvisual, and clairvoyancy. They're just all fancy words that says my heart's open. And this is the pathway to reclaiming all of your gifts and abilities.
Thank you, William, for all of this wisdom, all this clarity, assistance in moving beyond our bodies and our minds, perceptions from the past, into clarity about how best we can really assist ourselves, raise our vibratory level, and see ourselves as these unique, powerful beings that we are.
And thank you, everyone, for walking your walk, stepping up, stepping in as the divinity that you are, and let's have more of a blast than ever.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.